Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Core Racing Network and the Ultimate Conquest Racing League. Tonight, the Man Cave After Dark Truck Series heads to Nashville Fairgrounds, the short track here, a little bit over half mile, and this thing is, it's a little bit high banked. It's not, not necessarily like, Bristol high banked when it comes to half miles here, but it is certainly bumpy, and it can certainly upset these trucks on the straightaways, in the corners, pretty much everywhere. So you really need to be on your toes getting around this thing. But looks like some of our top drivers in points, like Chris Bouchard, have already figured it out, at least in practice, up at the top of the boards right now. A little bit smaller field tonight, as right now we got 15 drivers slotted to take the green flag. Still got some time for guys that jump in here, but not really surprising when you got a shorter, tougher track like this, and let alone the holidays right around the corner. But as always, I got my man with me in the booth here, and that is Jimmy Cover. Jimmy, I know it's a short track, but Nashville can put on some pretty good races.
Yeah, Nashville has that unique opportunity to do that. The drivers are, it's not a real flat short track, so you got a little bit of banking in a corner. It allows the speed and the trucks to get around here pretty nicely. But the guy that's right now putting out some times there, you see Chris Bouchard. He's currently sitting second on points, 135 points behind Grady Gherkin, which isn't too far off his pace right now. So I expect a pretty heavy battle here, and I'm sure Chris Bouchard was hoping maybe for a little bigger field and be able to spread that the distance between the two and catch up on some points here as the season starts to come down to the end, as we're in the working to the almost the last quarter of it here, but we still have a lot of racing left, and I think we're gonna have another good one here tonight, as we talked about earlier. A little smaller field, but these guys might welcome that here. It's pre-holidays. I'm sure a lot of people busy, and these guys are allowed to have a 2 drop weeks, so that'll shake up the points a little bit, and maybe this is what they were kind of counting on. I know if I had a track to miss, this might be one of them because it's short. But either way it goes, I think tonight's going to be great, and we'll see what these guys got for us tonight.
Yeah, I think they have about 7 more tracks on the schedule that you'd like to drop, all of them being the short tracks there. But yeah, this is it's a pretty good track when it comes to the racing. It all depends on the setup, just like anywhere else. But usually this thing can have some differing lines, maybe not necessarily lines where you're gonna run through the middle or through the top, but you'll have some guys that like to get down to the bottom right away and run that bottom. You have some guys that like to maybe enter in the middle and kind of arc it off the corner, as see Travis Bennett going for a bit of a ride on the front stretch there. But yeah, 6 races left, 7 if you count tonight, so certainly in the back half of this schedule. And still on top of the boards is Grady Gherkin, leading this point championship out there to a 135-point lead over Chris Bouchard. Eric Jeffers in third, Travis Bennett, Jerry West make up the top 5. Little, Kirby, Stouffer, Bolster, and Greathouse make up your top 10, so a big move up the standings there for Greathouse. But still got a couple of guys in that top 10 with Little, even Bolster and Greathouse yet to get a win on the season, and they've been nipping at it here and there. We don't see Little at the top of the boards. Actually, I don't see Little out here at all. So maybe somebody else can finally grab the pole here, but he won't be able to grab that first win quite yet. So maybe you have to wait till next week at Kansas. But the Full Throttle Motorsports team has been dominating all season. They are still in the championship lead for the team, out there to about a 250-point lead over Mid-Pack Motorsports. Turn and Burn in third, Black Magic Motorsports, Sprunk International Racing, Elite Motorsports, Inca Salsa Racing, and No Lift Motorsports make out the 8-team field. But we are just about finishing up here with practice, and it's going to be quite the race here. 175 laps is going to be on tap, just like last week, but Nashville is certainly a lot different than Richmond. Richmond, obviously, the tri-oval, a little bit flatter, and you're really going to watch the back end stepping out, and let alone getting a little bit tight coming off of turn 2 there. But Nashville is just, you got to watch and make sure you hit the bumps correctly, and make sure the truck's underneath you the entire time.
And yeah, I think a newer name I haven't seen very much of, or if not at all, maybe new this week. Todd Smith in number 66. Showing that he's got a little bit of speed here. 6th overall fastest here in practice, as practice comes to an end. These guys are about to go out here for their qualifications laps and see if they can get the best start. And see if they get out early, get that free clean air, I guess, for the first initial laps, and then when it gets spread out, they'll probably look at lap traffic as well. But we'll see how all things pan out here tonight as the qualification gets underway.
And we have nobody in there for the in-race reporter here tonight. I think a lot of people maybe not scared of this track, but not looking forward to it. So nobody out here tonight. We will talk to this man right here next week at Kansas, Tony Japs. He's going to be our in-race reporter for next week in the Tide Machine, and kind of a up and down season for him. But we'll get into that a little bit more next week. But he is one of the drivers out here, one of the 15 that will compete for tonight's win. And yeah, it's a shame for guys like like Bouchard, like Jeffers and Bennett and these guys trying to reel in Gherkin for the points, but you gotta feel like this is maybe a little bit of an early Christmas present for Gherkin, and certainly even if he has a bad night, not gonna lose too much in the standings.
Yeah, I'm always one for the underdog and the guy coming from behind. So I'm always hoping for that opportunity to make the points race as close as possible. But Chris Bouchard, showing that he is fast tonight so far, and has the provisional pole with a 118.8, and then that number 66 that we talked about being early. He just got bumped out of second place down to third by Travis Bennett, but sitting at Todd Smith having third. So everybody's starting to get some times in. Grady Gherkin popping in, not quite edging out Chris Bouchard. So the 1 and 2 points battle for the championship is on the front row, it looks like here, unless somebody can come in and take that away from these two.
Yeah, it seems like these guys are getting a better lap in the second time around, so it may take just a lap to get these tires warmed up enough and get them nice and grippy to get that good lap in. As we've seen Gherkin down there towards the bottom of the standings, and all of a sudden the second lap brought him up to second place. But just about halfway done with the qualifying here. Thank you to some of the guys that are joining us from watching the Core Arca Menard series over there on our other broadcasts, as they are in their championship night tonight. So I just want to give them a little bit of shout out. Looks like they're about halfway through their race right there, and still got 5 of the 6 championship contenders on the lead lap and all in that front pack right there. So good luck to all those guys over there, and certainly if you want to tune in and check that out for a little bit, hop back over here. Either way, it'll both be on CRN, and we'll try and bring you as much coverage of both as possible. As looks like Jerry West sticking that thing in the outside wall like a dart. Yeah, I mean, it's some of these tracks just have those little spots on the walls where you expect that you're going to slide, and all of a sudden the truck just grabs and snaps, and you hope that they're not driving a direct drive wheel, because that thing will just snap in your hands, and
it hurts.
I mean, it can, best case scenario, rip out of your hands. But I've heard a lot of horror stories about people breaking their fingers by
we know somebody personally.
It's not a fun situation.
All I can say from that incident is do not use a GT wheel on dirt. It is not a good combination. You can get away with on an oval. It's not too bad, but those dirt tracks, you really got to wheel and deal, and having pretty much a quarter of a steering wheel or only 2 places to hold on to is not good for when you're trying to let the car rotate. The back, one side might slap you in the finger and the back of the hand, and it hurts really bad. But yeah, Chris Bouchard with only 1 minute left is still on top with Grady Gherkin, Jake Lesh, and Justin Kirby sneaking in there right there at the last moment, taking away that third place from Jake Lesh, moving Jake to 4th, Brent Kirby in 5th, Travis Bennett 6th, matching his side number of his car, Todd Smith in 7th, Tony Japs in 8th, Peter Przuchek in 9th, Scott Bolster in 10th, Jordan Wenzel in 11th, Eric Jeffers in the 4 in 12th, and Tim Glass, the number 18 truck in 13th spot. So there's 3 trucks that did not decide to run qualification. That would be the 51 of Matt Grayhouse and 00 of Jerry West, and I see the number 55 of Jerry and Little. He is on the track right now, so he's going to try to sneak one in with 12 seconds remaining. We'll see if he can at least get 1 lap in and see where he falls. But I think he might want to use that
I
for a
think
little
that's your
warm
answer
up.
right
So
there. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what the situation for Jerry West too was. Yeah, he tried to get out there and brush the wall on the backstretch on the first lap, and then got a little bit loose in the turn on the second lap. So he did try and put down a lap, but not to be had. But we are done with qualifying. Jimmy, why don't you give us a 16 truck rundown for this field?
yeah, the rundown for tonight here, like I said a little bit earlier, but with a now being official. Let's go here, qualify at our show here. Bring up, it'll be Chris Bouchard in first, Grady Gerken in second, Justin Kirby in third, Jake Lesh in fourth, Brent Kirby in fifth, Travis Bennett in sixth, Todd Smith in seventh, Tony Jepson in eighth, Peter Pazuchek in ninth, Scott Bolster in 10th, Jordan Wenzel in 11th, Eric Jeffers in 12th, Tim Glass 13th, Jerry West 14th, 15th is Jeremy Little, and 16th is Matt Greyhouse. And I'm going to step out for 10 seconds while Carl continues to entertain you.
And Jimmy stepping out for a little station identification here. But yeah, it's a smaller field here probably isn't that bad of a deal because it can get a little sketchy here at the half mile here at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. But our top two guys in points, top two on the boards in qualifying. So we'll see if Bouchard can get the better of Gerken here off the start and off the entire field. See if he can grab win number 3 on the season. One of 4 guys that have 2 wins on the season as he joins Travis Bennett, Justin Kirby, Chris Stouffer, the other ones that have 2 wins on the season. Grady Gerken, Eric Jeffers, Jerry West, and Brent Kirby and Andrew Ratcliffe, the other drivers with a single win on the season. The rest still looking to grab that first one. So we'll see who comes out on top. Again, 175 laps on tap here. The guys are out there gritting up, and it looks like the pace truck is rolling off. So we will have, I believe it's going to be 2 pace laps here until everybody gets out here. So get your drinks ready, get your popcorn ready, get your snacks ready. It's time to go. A little short track racing here for the Man Cave After Dark Truck Series.
I don't know about you, Carl, but Tuesday night is just I really look forward to this this broadcast and this series, and these guys just every week putting on great races. So right now looks like the pace truck will come by one more time as we go past Barney here with Chris Bouchard in the blue and white paint scheme this week, alongside with that 46 of Grady Gerken on that front row. So good looking field here tonight as we have 16 trucks. Not a huge field, but not a small field. I think it's going to have great racing.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter if these guys have 10 cars in the field or 30. These guys will certainly put on a show. So getting ready to go now. We are going to take the green at this time by. Pace truck lights are out. It is Bouchard and Gerken on the front row. Lesh, a good qualifying start for him. He's going to be on the second row there on the outside with Justin Kirby on the inside. Barney's got that flag waving. We are racing here at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Good start by the 28. He's going to get down on the inside and cover up that lead coming off the turn. And it is going to be Bouchard leading Gerken as Gerken gets a little bit loose, collects it up, and that could be, again, a little bit of a product of these tires just needing a couple laps to kind of warm up. You've seen some of the guys in qualifying, even in practice, just getting a little bit loose in these corners, and that's what these slight little bumps, they're not huge. They're not like, USA Dirt when it wears in, or even the Nashville Super Speedway. But they're big enough that if you're not ready to catch that truck, it's going to snap the back end around. But hopefully these guys can rein them in as Jeps gets awful close to the back of Bennett there. But everybody looks like they filed out pretty nicely, and we are green, and hopefully these guys can keep it green.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of laps. 175 laps. They're about 16, 18 seconds around here. Looking back at our intel here for Nashville, it looks like they can go about 133 of those. 137 laps. These guys do get one green-white checker attempt. And it should be a lot of fun here. I really wait. I'm thinking a big green flag night tonight. So we're gonna see who has that long run capability, being able to make these tires just last.
Yeah, that's gonna be the big thing. It's just kind of the same thing as last week. Is the fuel may last that long, but I don't think the tires will. But looks like the lead's not going to last that long, as already Grady Gherkin looking to try and get the pass done on Bouchard. And really sticking to that inside, but Bouchard getting the good run off the outside there, and he's still able to hold him off, but still side by side, been side by side now for a few laps. And Gherkin not giving up the fight. He's going to dive it back in there again. Right behind them, Justin Kirby just watching and waiting and ready to pounce himself. But right now, looks like two lanes are certainly developing, and both of them are pretty racy, as these guys are still side by side at the front.
Yeah, and this is where I kind of, I guess where I lack some of the knowledge here for some of the short tracks. And, you know, these guys are running two different lines. Which one of those lines is better on the tires? You know, we all know that, you know, the distance are a little bit farther out from the center is obviously longer, so maybe it's a little worse gas mileage. But if them tires, you can make them tires last up there, you know, that might be the line. And it looks like Grady Gherkin's going to fall behind and not battle Chris Bouchard and maybe take some of these laps off, as we are only on lap 9 of 175 right now. But right now it's Chris Bouchard, Grady Gherkin, Justin Kirby, Jake Lesh, and Brent Kirby round out your top 5. Then Travis Bennett, Tony Japs, Todd Smith, Scott Bolster, Jordan Wenzel, Peter Przuchek, Eric Jeffers, Terry West, Matt Greathouse, Tim Glass, Jeremy Little to round out your field.
Shout out to everyone that is watching right now, especially to Brian Lewis and Zach Kearns out there rooting for Matthew Greathouse, and maybe just good house when it comes to the starting spot here. But he's starting to work his way up through the field. Taking a look right there at the 51 machine, and he usually finds his way through the field. It's just, you know, if and when he gets caught up in something, and it's him and Jeremy Little right behind have been the bad luck charms for, or they've been rubbing the bad luck charms this entire year. I mean, just anything and everything they get caught up in. It's usually, you know, halfway to the end of the race. But we already have our first yellow. I don't have the track map up on my side, but we'll take a look at what happened. And doesn't look like he got helped at all. It looks like he just got in the corner, and you see the back end just stepping out, and it's really tough to save it at this track. Backs it into the wall a little bit. Doesn't look like too much damage on it, so he will get the thing collected. Nobody else collected in the mess either.
Yeah, you see, I mean, the truck just snapped around, and maybe that's a product of brake bias being set too far back, Carl.
So a few guys electing to stay out here and not bring it in. See if I can get a reset on my side with the track map, but looks like a few guys are staying out, and actually just a couple coming in. So you got Tim Glass, Justin Kirby, Jerry West, and Jeremy Little.
Unless he just had to stop.
Or if he's having some blinking issues again, he's gotten it pretty much all corrected. So whatever they did, yeah, that little bit of blink there. Whatever they did when they came out, they worked out the demons pretty well. I mean,
most of the demons are gone. I think there's a little bit of residue left over, you know, some ectoplasm or something. So might want to call the Ghostbusters and pull the rest of them out. But for the most part, Chris has been back on track. The drivers are definitely not complaining as much as they were. He used to blink pretty bad. Anytime I would want to watch Chris, I'd have to get who was next to him. So hopefully he didn't have too much of a gap between somebody to follow Chris around. But right now he's out front with Grady Gherkin in second, Brent Kirby in third, up 2 spots so far. Jake Lesh still in fourth. Travis Bennett's up a spot in fifth. Tony Japs up 2 spots in sixth. Todd Smith still hanging in seventh. Scott Bolster up 2 spots in eighth. Jordan Wenzel in ninth, up 2 spots. And Peter Przuchek sliding back 1 position to that 10th spot around your top 10 so far tonight.
Well, we have a moment. Give congratulations to the season-ending race winner of Kevin Foster over there in the Core Arca Menard Series, and John Nobinger bringing home the title, as he was one of the final 6 drivers going for the championship. And it was one heck of a battle coming to the end, as he had 3 of the championship drivers getting into the last corner, and Foster able to get him at the line, but he was not one of the championship guys. But I think John will certainly be happy with a second place finish there for the championship. So congrats to them over there, and welcome everyone that was over there watching that one. and now coming over to tune into UCRL here as we are green. So not sure if we're still on a replay here or not, but I'm a little bit in the back here. I see the truck out there yet.
There we go.
There we go.
Sometimes
so green back in the air, whether we know it or not, and we are back racing. And Bouchard out to another good start, but Gherkin not letting him go at all. And we got Brent Kirby. So we had Justin up there before, and now Justin gone, but the other Kirby now is going to assume third place as Jake Lesh is in there in fourth place, still hanging out there in the top 5. So good run so far for the 7 machine. And losing my voice there a little bit. But yeah, we have still 16 cars in the field. And like I said, I don't think too much damage on the back of that 58 machine for Justin Kirby. So he is back out there racing, and everybody jockeying for positions once again. It's one of those tracks where you can pass, you can set up a pass in the long run, but certainly when you're all bunched up there 2 by 2 is the best time to try and get it done.
Yeah, just watching the back of the pack here as they tend to be a little more too wide in the front, when they get the restarts going as they jockey and try to grab positions. And you have Peter Pazuchek on the outside of that 58. Jeremy Little looking to get around here. I think he's still trying to get a feel of the truck. As it looks like his truck's wrapped up like a Christmas present here. Carl, let me zoom in on that thing. Is that 55 of Jeremy Little. Looks like he's ready for Christmas when maybe they're handing out some meat stick thermometers for people. And to have a good old barbecue for the Christmas treats.
Yeah, I'm guessing maybe that's why he got to the race a little bit late. Maybe he's coming from an ugly sweater party. Certainly looks like that's the wrap that he's got on there, a little ugly sweater action. But looking pretty good out there, and repping the meat stick thermometer, the sponsor of last week's race. No sponsor on here tonight. And and speaking of sponsors, these guys again are still looking for a couple races here to finish out the season, as next week at Kansas, round of 17 at Phoenix, and round 19 at Gateway are all still up for grabs. So if anybody is interested in sponsoring a race here for these guys, they'd appreciate any kind of help that you can give them. And just get in touch with myself, Jimmy, or the the league admin in Scott Bolster, and they'll get you all set up. But still got some pretty good battling here. I mean, we've been green now. It's not like we just had the restart, but these guys are still battling for positions, as Justin Kirby working his way back up through the field and all the way up to 12th place, now battling for 11th.
Yeah, he's slowly coming. I think he just, like I said, I think that spin, I think he just maybe had his brake bias back just a little bit too far. But having it back that far does allow you to get that car to rotate just a little bit better. Just a little too much pressure, and Brian locked it up, snapped it around. It's not a hard thing to do. You're trying to watch your field of view. As looks like Peter Pazuchek went ahead and slid around, but is able to keep it going forward, and they're going to stay green. But he definitely went back a little bit, and I think I can catch him here. As I think you're going to get passed by Jeremy Little here, but Peter loses just a little bit. Maybe a little bit of touch from the 55, but able to keep it going.
Avoid any kind of unnecessary puns by saying anything about the meat stick truck getting into the side there. But yeah, Spider-Man is able to save that one and get everything back going here. And it's not easy. Like I said, I can't emphasize it enough. It's not easy to drive any kind of cars on this track, is with how bumpy it is. And you certainly see these trucks are just right on edge, and any kind of slight little tap from somebody else is going to send them around. And you've seen Justin Kirby didn't even need a tap. He went around by himself. So we'll see how these guys handle it. And maybe it's a case where you kind of actually want to wear that right front out a little bit quicker than kind of saving it, and it'll help you in the long run by keeping that truck a little bit tighter.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of ways to handle these trucks around here. So But at least Peter was able to, he didn't fall that far back, so plenty of time to catch up. As we're only on lap 31, but Chris Bouchard is in first, Brent Kirby in second, and Jake Lesh moving up to that third spot. And Carl, every time they come off turn 4, I'm getting a little bit of dust kick up. I don't know if it's net code or if they're just they're just, I don't know. Maybe the track just has something right there, but every time they go by, I see a little poof of dust right off of turn 4. So hopefully it's not the track giving these guys net code.
Now I'm assuming it might be from the 28 truck, maybe just blinking out every time they come by the stands there, and it's just
possibly
that little bit of blink out gives a little puff of smoke. But I mean, if you think there's debris on the track, I can radio down to the guys down there, and we get a caution thrown for debris on the track, get these guys bunched back up. But right now they're starting to spread out. I mean, you see the track map right there. They're about halfway around the track right now, and it happens pretty quick. I mean, you see a lot of the battles are in the yellow or the white, and as I say that now, a bunch are going back into the orange and being immediate battles. But take a look at right here again at Matthew Greathouse trying to work his way up through the field, and according to Zach, he's still just Matthew Decent House until he to maybe breaks into the top 10.
I mean, to get in the car, you're just average, and then I guess top 15, you're decent. Top 10, you're okay. You gotta be great to be in like top 5. I guess that's where it starts drawing a line.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets a podium or a win, it's if he's Mr. Awesome House at that point. But well, we'll see. I mean, we definitely got to get him in there again. He's one of the I mean, at least in my opinion, one of the better drivers out here yet to get a win this season. But I'll tell you what, Justin Kirby is showing that you can absolutely pass pretty easily on this track, as he has moved his way from the back of the field back up to 5th place already. And it may have been 20 laps, but these laps go quick, and the fact that he's passed that many trucks that quickly, I mean, he's passed about 10 trucks, I think, at least, and all the way up in the top 5. We'll see what he's got. I mean, granted, he did come in and he does have fresher tires than a lot of these guys, but only by maybe 15 laps,
13
when we had the first caution. So I mean, it's not like they're that much better, but tell you what, maybe tires are absolutely the way to go as soon as possible, as it's certainly working out for that 58.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't hurt him, and that's for sure. I mean, and Jerry West, in the same situation, coming in on lap 13, taking tires, currently up 7 spots from where he started. So, and Jerry West is back there in that 7th spot right now, so trying to make that double zero.
Another caution, as it looks like it involves the 81 of Jordan Wenzel. We'll take a look back and see what happened. And pretty much a mirror image of the Justin Kirby incident, where he goes into turn 3 and the back end just kicks out, just was not happy going to that corner. And it could be a little bit of just dirty air being close to the truck right there, as Justin Kirby did have a truck in front of him, maybe not as close as Wenzel did right there, but yeah, the truck not happy after about 15-20 laps, especially going into turn 3. So we'll see who elects to stay out, if anybody, and it looks like we may have 1 or 2 trucks stay out. Looks like actually no, just 1. Justin Kirby is going to stay out. He's going to get that lap led. Now the question is, does he come in on this second lap here? Not sure if he actually got credited with the lap led. I think Chris Bouchard already passed the line, so if he's looking to just get that bonus point and then come in, he may not get it after all. But not sure if you want to stay out there. I mean, he showed how much the tires meant, and clearly he's got speed too, but he's able to work his way through the field pretty quickly. So interested to see if he is going to stay out this time by, and looks like now he is going to bring that thing in, and I guess just hope to cross that start finish line before the rest of the guys get there. And it's going to be close, and it looks like he is actually going to get it done. So good job by the 58 team to grab him any kind of bonus points that they can. And now he will go back to the rear of the field again, but now everybody on equal tires. If the 58 takes tires, I mean, these guys are limited to 4 sets of tires, and I don't see that truck going up at all.
No.
So interesting strategy here for the 58, and we'll see if it pays off.
You see as he stops as iRacing is telling him that the pits are closed, and he waits patiently and allows the sign to turn green before he comes out here, so he doesn't have to do a drive-through. Yeah, Justin back out on the track. He drove through the field once already to get all the way up to the front, and plenty of time as we're only on lap 44 right now. Is when they complete here, or when they complete this lap, will be 44 laps in, up to 175. Chris Bouchard still in the lead with Jake Lesh moving up to second, Brent Kirby in third, Grady Gherkin in fourth, Jerry West in fifth, Travis Bennett, Eric Jeffers, Tony Jabs, Todd Smith, and Scott Bolster rounding out your top 10. And then in 11th is Jeremy Little, Matt Grayhouse, Jordan Wenzel, Tim Glass, Peter Pazuchek, and Justin Kirby. Everybody's still on the lead lap here, all 16 trucks here. And as we already seen so far, Carl, I mean, it's been great racing. They're going green as Chris Bouchard takes off, leading this pack down around into turn one.
Yeah, another great start, and we're starting to see Grady Gherkin slip back a little bit here. He's now back in fourth, but that 7 machine of Jake Lesh is slowly working his way to the front. Brent Kirby has made his way to the front as well, as he is now moved himself into second place after starting back there in fifth. So good job by the 95 of maybe replacing his brother up there at the front. And so far getting it done, as now we see the 6 of Travis Bennett starting to move up there, as well as he's going to move himself into 6th place on the inside underneath Tony Japs, as the 4 of Jeffers look to the inside of Japs, but not going to get it done just yet. Looks like everybody going to be back to single file.
Yeah, this seems like what they want to do. They try to get a good start. They go too wide for a little bit, but they don't want to beat their tires too much. They're they know they have a long way to go. I mean, I think they're in the window to finish this thing on fuel, but you know, as we've seen the truck, as we look at the 00 hit into the wall ever so slightly, everybody checking up. Travis Bennett gets around. Tony Japs going to the outside. Jerry West able to keep that truck under control as we continue to go around here on lap 49.
A great job of avoidance for everybody, as that could have been a little miniature big one there on the backstretch. But everybody does work their way around and avoid each other as well. So good job by everybody on that one. Bouchard is the man to beat out front, though, as he's now starting to stretch the lead out to about 0.4 of a second. Brent Kirby not letting him go, though. Not really, any kind of a big lead yet for Bouchard at any point, but he has led the entirety of this race under green so far, and just a quick battle with Grady Gherkin early in the race, but nobody else has really challenged him yet up front, as we have completed 50 laps now of 175, and you start to wonder who is the 1, the 2, the 3, 4 guys that can challenge for this race win. And when are they going to do it? Is the question, because it's one of those where I think they got to take the tires and take the pit stop at the right time, because if this thing stretches out green, short pitting could work, long pitting could work. There's a lot of different things that can happen. I don't think we've seen the last pit stops yet, though.
No, I don't think we've seen the last pit stops. It's going to be hard if they can go green the whole way, but you've seen how much of a difference 13 lap old tires was making for Justin Kirby, as right now he's still in the back of the pack. So not being able to make it through there, maybe just checking up for that earlier incident right now, but Justin Kirby sitting all the way in the back of the pack, following these guys around, as Jeremy Little gets a little loose up there, slowing down on the outside of the number 51 of Matthew Greathouse. That would have been going into coming out of 2 and going into 3. So you see the side of his truck's all kind of scraped up there a little bit, as we are back under yellow. I'm not quite sure why.
I've seen the 50 and the 52 a little bit slow at the back of the pack. Not sure if it involved them or not. But yeah, I didn't really see anything
Was it
crazy on my screen, at
there
least.
It is. Peter Pazuchek getting up into the wall as the 58 went by him, pulling out the caution. So the 58 going by Peter as he was getting sideways, tagging the wall, is what brought out the caution. But just another self spin. But that's the second one for Peter. So Just a little bit too much gas getting off the corner and not being able to hold on to that. And maybe somebody wants to take a 2-tire pit stop, but I would take lefts and not rights. So it's not more loose than what it already is. But a few guys coming in right now. It looks like Justin Kirby, Tim Glass, Peter Pazuchek, and Jerry West all taking stops. So you're seeing Justin Kirby taking tires again. And now, so it's back to the way it was not too long ago. These guys should have enough fuel to make it the whole way, but are going to be on fresher tires. Can these guys keep it green the rest of the way? Allowing Justin Kirby, Tim Glass, Jerry West, and Peter Pazuchek maybe to drive through the field.
Yeah, we talked about the different strategies. That's all fine and dandy if it goes green, but you have situations like this right here. Like, what happens if it goes green now? You should be good to go on fuel, but you're not going to have those 15-lap newer tires like, Justin Kirby, Tim Glass, Jerry West, and Peter Pazuchek. But you have the track position as well. They're going to have to use those tires to get up to you. So, yeah, it's... Racing is anything but dull. I mean, there's constantly strategies being moved around. It doesn't matter if it's a 10-lap race or 175-lap race. You need to constantly be thinking, what's the best strategy for me now, later, middle of the race? I mean, it's crazy. I mean, and a lot of these drivers, probably 99% of these drivers are doing this all by themselves. While they're in the truck, they got to figure out all these strategies. They don't have, a crew chief in their ear helping them out, or even a spotter. Everybody's trying to figure this out on the fly. I mean, most of these guys are on teams, and they can discuss different strategies amongst themselves on the team. But at the end of the day, you still need to make sure you're making the right strategy call for yourself. But out front and ruling the strategy game so far is Chris Bouchard, still the man at the point. Pace truck is in. It's going to be him and Brent Kirby on the front row. Gherkin now in third, Lesh in fourth. Bouchard back on the loud pedal, and we are racing again at Nashville Nashville Fairground Speedway. And another good start, and the top three a really good start there, and find out pretty quick, a little bit for four, but Lesh going to hold on to it for at least the time being.
Jeremy Little.
And another caution for the ugly sweater truck. The mistake turned around a little bit. Looks like we will stay green on that one, though, as we are now completed lap 60 and on lap 61.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just, I can grab that sensitive here, and it's just, it looks like it was another self-spin. Just a little bit too much, maybe a little help there from their body to 66 on that one. Getting sideways just a little bit. Touching that inside. Not quite sure why the caution didn't come out, but we are still green here as Chris Bouchard leads the pack here with Brent Kirby, Grady Gherkin, Jake Less, and Travis Bennett for your top 5 so far.
Looks like Grady Gherkin, is trying to do a little bit of work here on Brent Kirby. We haven't seen too much passing in the front, and for the top 3 spots. I feel like the guys that get up there with the speed, it's a little tough to pass. You've seen Gherkin try and make the move earlier on Chris Bouchard, but just not getting it done. So we'll see. Again, who has it right now looks like Scott Bolster having a good run on the outside, getting by Todd Smith on the outside. And right behind him, Justin Kirby trying to put those new tires to use as he's kind of stuck behind these guys right now as these guys do a little bit of battling. And maybe Justin is going to have to look and take this thing 3 wide to try and move up through the field. But he's got to use those tires, and he's got to use them wisely and early. Well, he's got the advantage on everybody else.
Yeah, right now they're definitely holding him up as Peter Pazuchek goes sideways yet again. Able to maintain this one this time, though, keeping it green again. But this will be right in front of. If I can get this to click over, yeah. Oh, no, that was wrong one. Yeah, there's Peter. Oh, you can see Peter going around now. Oh, I'm Peter right here. Yeah, just getting sideways again. Trying to drift it around the corner. Right in front of Jeremy Little.
Very close for Jeremy right there.
So Peter having a little hard time finding that edge where you can really get on the gas to get the truck hooked up here tonight, sending them to the back of the pack here. But the guy that's in the front of the pack is Chris Richard. Nobody's really been able to touch him. They're not letting him go, though, so I think they're just kind of hanging on. There's plenty of race left, but Brent Kirby's just hanging right there. Grady Gherkin doing what he needs to do. He's in that points championship lead right now by 130 points. This is not a bad spot for him, looking in a long-term thing. Jake Lesh in fourth, but this is where he started, so obviously we'd like to get on that podium, get up here and talk to us in the booth, possibly even get the win here, as he's been fast on a few tracks and just kind of got caught up in stuff. And then Eric Jeffers back in fifth, Travis Bennett in sixth, Tony Japs in seventh, up a spot. Matthew Grayhouse working his way up front. He's now in the top 10, up 8 spots, looking to take that 7th spot right there away from Tony Japs. And then you have Jordan Wenzel back in the 81 truck, up 2 spots at 9th, and then 10th, Justin Kirby using those tires to come forward again. So we're on lap 72, almost a lot of race to go.
Yeah, Justin Kirby, the only one of those that have come into the pit lane to actually make those tires work so far and actually move up a couple spots. Only up to 10th right now, but Tim Glass, who also came in to the pits, he's up to 12th. And then the other two are still in the back of the pack, and that being Jerry West and Peter Brzucek. Obviously, Peter having his issues and, might have been up a little bit further before he had a little bit of a spin right there. But just not being able to keep the thing under control. But getting back to Jake Lesh, I mean, it's not understated how good of a run this is for him so far. I mean, he's shown flashes here and there of being a decent enough truck to get up there in the top 5. But we talked about the guys who are arguably the best drivers out there without a win yet. In my eyes, he's the best driver out there without a top 5, and he's out there. He's in 11th place in the point standings right now, and the first truck that is in that line without a top 5 yet. He's got only 4 top 10s on the season, but he's been consistent enough just outside the bubble there to get himself up there into 11th in points, and then right behind him, Peter Brzucek with the same numbers there with 4 top 10s, no top 5s at all. So, those two drivers, you're just kind of waiting this entire season for it to click, and maybe it's finally clicking here for Jake Lesh. Don't want to jinx him at all, but so far, good qualifying effort, good run for that 7 machine.
Yeah, I mean, I like the diversity of this league here, and pretty good mix-up. A lot of... I mean, you get your few people that are up seeing to find their way to the front, at least for a small portion of the race until maybe they have an issue or something. But a lot of guys being real consistent for that middle pack. I don't think there's any one guy he's probably gonna finish last. That whole middle pack is just so diverse, and they mix it up every single week.
Speaking of the middle pack, he's gone from decent to good. I think at this point, Matthew Goodhouse is up into ninth place, moving up into the top 10. So he's trying to move his way up there and trying to get in that great top 5. Right now, battling for 8th place with Tony Japs right in front of him, all over the back bumper of that tied machine, trying to clean the back bumper off of there for him. It's going to go down to the inside and try and get it done, and it's been tough sledding for guys to try and make passes on the inside so far. I mean, it can be done. We've seen it done, but the guy on the outside just gets a really good run off of the corner, and clearing the truck up top is tough. I mean, you don't want to just send it in on a guy and pull a slider, but you may have to do that at some point. I mean, we're now getting to the halfway point in this race, completing 80 laps, and it's certainly not anywhere near go time yet. It got very close right there as he just gets in front of Tony Japs, as Japs trying to close the door on the 81 there of Wenzel, but Wenzel now going to get to the inside and try and get himself into the top 9, and 3 trucks getting together. Looks like we will keep this thing green, though. They all kept it straight. So the race admins here letting them race, let the boys race here, I guess, tonight. Maybe getting tired of calling the cautions for single cars. These guys had a 3-car incident right there and still no cautions, so we'll keep this thing green, and I'm fine with that, Jimmy.
That is for free.
Yeah, I mean, you want to keep these guys going green as long as possible. I mean, that was quite close as we were kind of watching, watched it all happen unfold. But the 81 looks like he's fine and going good. Tony Japs appears to have not taken much damage as well. And I think Tim Glass was able to pick up a spot there. Todd Smith moving back just a little bit. I think he kind of came away with the most damage on that right side, but overall still green, still Chris Bouchard, Brett Kirby, Grady Gherkin, Eric Jeffers, and Justin Kirby for your top 5.
Bouchard now out to what is the biggest lead of the race so far, and it's still not that much, as that's out to 0.7 seconds, so any little bit of a hiccup, and Brent Kirby's right back all over the backside of him. But it's been tough for Bouchard to stretch out a lead, but we talked about the guys behind him of Kirby and Gherkin maybe just kind of settling in and not pushing too hard, and you wonder how much Bouchard is. You wonder how much he's still got in the tank if he can just go ahead and pull away from these guys, but he's just gonna kind of keeping them in tow and maybe making them use up their tires to try and think that they can get up to race him. But so far, nothing. So far, a little bit of a battle with Gherkin earlier. Other than that, really no threats, as we have another caution. Looks like it involves Tony Japs again, but this time it will bring in a caution. We'll take a look back and see what happened.
It looks like another self spin. Ooh, and Tim Glass doing a pretty good job of checking up, and Jabs slowing down too, as well as not hitting those guys as they were going around the outside. So this great driving. Even, he got himself loose. He had a little bit of damage in the back of the truck, but these guys do such a great job of the avoidance in not taking each other out when whether they self-cause an accident or they're involved in an accident. So the sportsmanship is just awesome here.
Yeah, and it's one of those situations where in a lot of leagues, somebody sees somebody spinning and they assume right away that there's going to be a caution, so they just floor it and try and get as many spots as they absolutely can before the caution actually gets thrown. And nobody wins in that situation, because 9 times out of 10, that guy that's just gonna hammer through the field and try and get some spots before the caution, he's going to cause an even bigger caution. So yeah, it's great to see that these guys have the respect for one another to make sure everybody gets through safely. And
what a race off!
Like, yeah, I'm not sure if Brent Kirby actually got out ahead of Grady Gherkin. We'll see when they get back up on the track here. That was certainly close at the line. Bouchard easily out there in front. Yeah, you see right there Gherkin going by. So Gherkin able to get back up into second place, and it's been a struggle for him to get back up there since the race started, and since he had that little battle with Bouchard, and then he started falling back. So now we'll see if the 46 can mount another charge and maybe put a little fear into the 28.
Yeah, you can see who's up in that top 5 now, though. Justin Kirby coming in with everybody else, pitting, and using a strategy. I don't know, maybe he took 2 tires in order to make up some of that spot. If I go back here and I looked at the, we'll just do the whole pit lane time. You kind of see where how much time people use. Well, it looks like no, about everybody was the same. We'll do pit time. No, everybody about the same. So everybody around that 14.4, 14.5 seconds, with the exception of some of the guys in the back at 19 and 21 seconds, maybe taking on, fixing a little bit of damage. But yeah, those guys all pretty much the same. But Justin and Brent just making some ground there, especially that 58 to get back up there to the front from where he started. We're on lap 92 of 175, so we have about 63 or 64 laps remaining here at Nashville.
And don't look now, but the 4 of Eric Jeffers starting to move his way up there too. End of the top 5 now, starting at way back there in 12th. So the top 3 in points now all in the top 5, but both Kirbys also in the top 5, starting that in that 3rd and 4th, as Justin doesn't get that great of a restart there, but he's going to be able to clear the 4 coming down the backstretch. We are past the halfway point now, as we are now completing lap 93. So it's a better time as any to go ahead and let you hear the sights and sounds of these trucks ripping around the the Nashville Fairground Speedway with little love to hear it.
Love to hear it. Just completed lap 102, working on 103. Chris Bouchard in the lead over Grady Gherkin, Brent Kirby, Justin Kirby, Eric Jeffers, Jake Les, Jordan Wenzel, Travis Bennett, Matt Greathouse, and Jerry West round out your top 10. And the rest of the field is Jeremy Little, Scott Bolster, Peter Pazuchek, Todd Smith, Tim Glass, and Tony Chaps round out your 16 car field here at Nashville. These guys are doing a great job. You know, they have had a few yellows, but no major wrecks. Great crash avoidance here, as a lot of self-spins, trying to keep this truck under control, working that throttle, trying to lay down the best possible momentum that they can get around here. But everybody is pretty much single file here right now, pretty evenly spread out up front, a little bit of a bunch up in the way in the back with Todd Smith and Peter Pazuchek. These guys still having one heck of a race up here, trying to get around each other. You know, not wanting to be last, but they're doing a great job just racing and having a good time out here. And I'm sure they wish they were up front chasing Chris Bouchard and Grady Gherkin, but these guys are out front right now in that clean air, setting some pretty good laps right now. 19.372 for Chris Bouchard, Grady Gherkin. So just kind of mirroring each other around here. We'll see how this thing unfolds as we have about 67 more laps to go.
Grady Gherkin with a bit of a brown pants moment there, end of 3, as he certainly slid that back end of the truck through most of that corner, driving a little bit dirty, if you will. but is able to save it and collect it and keep all over the backside of that 28 machine. And the Kirby's not too far behind as well, just sticking right with them and not letting them go. So pretty good race so far, as Jimmy mentioned. I mean, granted, a little bit smaller field here tonight compared to what they normally show up, but the fact that we are now under 70 laps to go and we still have all 16 drivers on the lead lap just, you know, shows the class that these guys have from top to bottom. And you know, single car incidents can easily turn into to major incidents. And really, I think we've only seen, you know, one, maybe two incidents happen tonight that involved multiple trucks. Other than that, it's been the single spins where the guy spinning and the guys trying to avoid all do just that. They avoid each other at a great length. And you know, it's so much easier to get through a race when you don't have a bunch of trucks that are just all wrecked up, as that was very close right there. But I mean, other than that, it's been a class put on so far by Chris Bouchard. Still wondering how much he's actually got left in the tank, how much he's actually pushing that 28 machine. He's been able to just keep everybody behind him so far and just be able to you know, not necessarily drive away from the field, but just steadily click laps off. And we are now getting close to about 60 laps to go, and these guys got to start figuring out what they got to do to get around them. If it's going to be another pit stop under yellow, I don't think you'll see another pit stop under green at this point, but you never know. I mean, we haven't had a chance to see how good these tires can hold up for these runs.
Yeah, I mean, there's still quite a bit of laps left. I mean, I know they're fast, and I know they're 19 seconds, but tires do make a big difference. You know, I'm not sure who has tires remaining. That's the other thing, you know, as they only have 4 extra sets in the pits behind the wall from when they start. So, you know, essentially 5 sets of tires to go the whole race, which is plenty, obviously, but they do come down into play where you know, you go in, if say you have a caution every 10 laps, so you can't be taking tires every lap. So some leagues run with limited tires, some run with a tire kind of limit, and I think that makes a little more strategy involved in some of these longer races. But you know, if it's in you're in like a sprint series league or something like that, it's not going to matter too much, you know, whether they got 4 tires or 5 tires, unless, you know, they only got 1 extra set. Is it really going to make a difference? So, you know, unlimited is whatever. So, but Chris Bouchard having a good time out there right now, and it looks like the 95 has just got by the 46 here, as we can complete lap 117. We're kind of 118 of 175.
Yeah, typically with races like this, you know, considering you're getting about 135 laps on a tank of gas, drivers will kind of use up those tires under early cautions and maybe save 1 extra set of tires for a later race restart. But it's tough to call. I mean, you know, we don't really see anybody driving through the field that quickly. You know, nobody's got the fresher set of tires compared to everybody else. So other than Justin Kirby, he's been the one that's been able to pass just about anybody he's gotten to yet. He hasn't gotten to the back of Chris Bouchard, so we'll see if that 58 can get up there and maybe wrestle that lead away finally. But able to get past our points leader right there and join his brother in the top 3 right now, as Brent's starting to fall back a little bit from Bouchard, as Bouchard maybe turned up the heat a little bit late in this race, as we have about 54, 55 laps to go.
Yeah, those laps will go by before you know it. And right now, a great battle back here with Jake Lush in the 7 car with Matt Greathouse back in 8th. So these guys are doing a good job, not too far behind Jordan Wenzel. So Jordan Wenzel, I'm sure, is looking in his mirror and said, "Continue to fight, boys. Continue to fight." I'll just continue to try to hopefully pull away I need to as you battle that position out. But not too far behind them is Jerry West and Travis Bennett in the 9th and 10th position, doing pretty much the same thing as well. Looks like Jerry has a little bit of damage to his truck, so I'm sure that's slowing him up a little bit. But Jeremy Little up 4 spots from his start, so I mean, that's always a plus as he We were talking to him not too long ago, and being one of the series winners here with the UCRL, and the competition is just that they came in this season and is tough. So as much as we give them props for running green and clean laps and having a lot of sportsmanship for each other, they're also fast. As we see Jeremy Little back in the 11th spot, so a lot of guys give him a little more competition or a run for his money this season.
Yeah, certainly got to give a shout out to Jordan Wenzel having a good run out there in the 6th place right now, as he started back there in 11th and certainly had his issues earlier in the race and fell back a bit, but good job by him working his way back up through the field and up into 6th place. And same thing for the guy behind him, Matthew Greathouse, started back there in 16th and now up to his highest spot so far in the 7th position. So not quite great just yet, not in the top 5 yet, so I guess he hasn't earned that moniker yet, but doing what he's got to do so far, as we are under 50 to go now at Nashville, and it is about a 9/10 of a second lead for Chris Bouchard out front. Brent Kirby, Justin Kirby, your podium drivers right now. Grady Gherkin, Eric Jeffers rounding out your top 5, and then you got Wenzel, Greathouse, Lesh, West, and Little rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, doing a great job, these guys here, and I love this view from the blimp here. You kind of get a whole shot of the whole track, and you can kind of see how everybody's all spread out nicely evenly around the track. I mean, we have our track map there, as you can see the dots going around as well. But just seeing the cars on the track, they look like little matchboxes, little micro machines, and but it's just a good shot from up here, the Goodyear blimp. But back down here on the track, with Eric Jeffers moving his way forward, up 7th spot, but our biggest mover of the race. And he might not be Greathouse yet because he's not in the top 5, but he is up 9 spots from where he started and in that 7th position.
And it really goes to show you how important qualifying can be, because he seems like he's probably a top 5 truck at this point, but when you're having to start all the way in the back and you're slowly having to make your way up through the field, you can get caught up behind a lot of drivers and waste some tires, waste some time, whatever it might be. You see him now finally making a move, getting into 6th place, but had he been able to put down a qualifying lap, maybe he's starting in 6th or 7th, or maybe he's even starting in that top 5, and he can battle with some other trucks that are, maybe just slightly better than him, but he can at least try and see what he's got for the muscle of this field. But having to start along in the back has been a bit of a hampering for him today. Maybe he needs to to get with Justin Kirby and see what it takes to drive through this field, as Kirby is now running down his brother Brent, and they're both trying to run down your leader Chris Bouchard, but nothing quite yet, as the lead is slowly going down. You see Justin Kirby climbing back into the battle with his brother, and Brent Kirby has slowly reeled in Chris Bouchard, but only just by about 0.2 of a second. Very little bit of margin here that's bringing Buck back, but I mean, Chris Bouchard is just doing what he's got to do. They haven't had a chance to go on a long run like they have right now, and got into the back and got into traffic. So we'll see how traffic comes into play, because lap traffic is just up the road right there, as you see Tony Japs back there in 16th spot, and we may actually see our first driver go a lap down.
Yeah, I mean, they're working on it, and I'm sure Tony Japs is doing everything he can to get that truck going and not let Chris go by, so he doesn't go that lap down in case there is a caution. But you can see the Kirby brothers slowly gaining on Chris, so Chris is not going to wait around and allow the Kirby brothers to put him under that pressure. But it doesn't look like he has much say in that, as they continue to slowly drag him in, and maybe his truck is gonna go away, and the Kirby brothers have been able just to save that much tire. We see Justin back there just kind of hanging behind his brother, maybe he's trying to save some of them tires, looking for this longer green flag run. As we see here, the guys were in on lap 89 and we are now on lap 38, 138. So, you're looking at 50 laps. About 50 laps on these tires so far, and this is the longest that I think we've had anybody on one set of tires. So these cars are starting to get lighter on fuel, starting to have that tire wear come into effect, and looks like the 95 of Brent Kirby is going to start putting some pressure as Chris Bouchard's mirror is now full with that 95.
Yeah, just when I said it was Brent Kirby slowly reeling in Chris Bouchard, not slowly anymore. I mean, it was by a couple hundredths a lap, and now it seems like it's tenths of a second a lap that he's reeling him in. I mean, he is right there on the back bumper now of that 28, and we may finally have a battle once again for the lead as Bouchard, maybe that truck is not feeling right either on this long run. Maybe it's not feeling right because he's back behind another truck right now, and he's in a little bit of dirty air behind the 19 of Japs. But either way, it is working out nicely for both the Kirby brothers, but certainly for Brent, as he is looking for a way around that 28 late in this race here, as we're coming down to just over 30 laps to go right now. And now Bouchard's going to have to defend for the first time in quite some time, as the 95 inside of a half a second and gotten as close as right there a quarter of a second behind him.
Yeah, Chris wasn't able to set the 19 up to even slow down that 95, because the 95 was able to get underneath him the same time as that 28, allowing him to stay on that rear bumper, as it looks like Chris just checked up just a little bit, getting a little squirrely coming off the line there. But Tony Japs now on that high side, the 95 looking to get around, as Justin Kirby now goes under the 19 of Tony Japs. Still in that third spot, going to try to track down to the 28 and the 95. Excuse me, Justin is to 58. Trying to catch up to his brother Brent and Chris Bouchard, as they are now battle for the lead here.
Yeah, side by side, and again, we see the 28 doing some great defending from that outside. The truck has yet to make a pass on him on either side, but the only chance they've had is on that inside, the 95 of Brent Kirby. Doing all he can, but he's got to file back in line once again. The 28 doing a great job of maybe a little bit of a bumper run attempt there by the 95. Gonna get the 28 just a little bit out of shape, and he's gonna take another run at him into turn 3. They go side by side again, and all this is doing is just letting Justin Kirby reel them back in. Give that lap to Brent Kirby. First lap under green, not led by Chris Bouchard in this race. The 95 seems to be getting a little bit more of an edge this time, but still fighting back on that outside. Bouchard does not want to give this thing away. He knows if he can just keep him at bay for a couple laps, he'll get that run off the corner and still be able to hold on. But the 95 putting that work in and trying to just kind of muscle his way up and through, still has yet to clear. Now it looks like he may be able to, and he does. So move Brent Kirby officially up to the lead. Now does Justin Kirby have anything to harass the 28 and maybe make it a Kirby 1-2?
I mean, it's possible. I mean, I think the 95 of Brent Kirby was able to kind of help burn up Chris Bouchard's old tires, and I think they kind of saved him up a little bit. I think Justin was sitting back there waiting patiently as his brother continued to work around him, maybe working as a team, maybe getting some advice, maybe seeing something that he hasn't as he was falling around. But Justin Kirby getting a little bit of loose coming out of that last turn, and following back behind a 28 of Chris Bouchard as Brent Kirby, Chris Bouchard, Justin Kirby round out your top 3, and then back about 4 seconds to the 4th spot of Grady Gherkin. So falling back just a little bit, but Grady Gherkin getting his hands full here with Eric Jeffers and Matthew Greathouse. That's working in. Let's see, Eric Jeffers is the 5th, Matthew Greathouse is the 6th, and looking to take down Grady Gherkin, putting him back even farther. Then back in 7th position, almost 3 seconds back is Jordan Wenzel, and then he has Jerry West tracking him down. That Jake Lesh back there in that 9th spot, and Jeremy Little getting a little bit of a comeback here, being able to get into that top 10. And then behind him is Todd Smith 3 seconds back, and then Travis Bennett in 12th, Scott Bolster in 13th, Peter Pazuchek in 14th, Tim Glass in 15th, and Tony Japs rounding out our 16 truck field here.
So we have a battle now for second as Justin Kirby on the inside trying to make it work and trying to make it 1-2, and looks like the 28 almost looked like he blew a front right tire there. That thing just did not want to turn into turn 3 anymore, and that easily allowed the 58 of Justin Kirby by. Now it is the Kirby brothers that will maybe do battle here, but it looks like Brett is starting to check out just a little bit, starting to pick his way through traffic here. And looking back in the field, Matthew Greathouse looking to go from good to great, trying to get into that top 5. He's made his way up into 6th place. He's got the number 4 Eric Jeffers right in front of him, and then right in front of him Grady Gherkin, so he can go from 6th to 4th if he plays his cards right.
Yeah, looking to have another great finish here yet again this week. Eric Jeffers, he might not be the biggest mover so far, but is up 7 spots, and Jerry West up 6 spots. As he likes to come from the back as well, but Jeremy Little also up 5. Brent Kirby up 4 spots to be leading this race here as he gets underneath Scott Bolster there, the number 45, as he continues to start putting a lot of these trucks a lap down. So now only 12 trucks on a lead lap at lap 157. So I'm sure these guys are looking to finish this thing under green here, and it won't be long before we hit that lap 175.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys that would love to see a caution right now and then really mix this thing up, but certainly the Kirby brothers do not want to see any kind of colored flag other than the white and then the checkered here to finish this thing out. As Greathouse now it's trying to do work here on Jeffers and move into the top 5. Not going to get it done quite yet, but Brent Kirby just doing a phenomenal job as he's out there to a second lead. And it is erased. Yellow late here in the race. Looks like it involves Jordan Wentz, so he was having a pretty good run up to that point. And I'm assuming probably the same thing in that right there.
Yep.
Just self-spin off of turn 2. This thing just got interesting, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's not something that these guys wanted, and with tires being such a thing, I would not be surprised if these Kirby brothers come in to take tires, but with only 15 laps remaining, and I'm probably looking at a 13 lap shootout. Hopefully, they're not the only ones coming in. Right now, we see Brent Kirby, Justin Kirby, Chris Bouchard, Grady Gherkin, Eric Jeffers, Matthew Greathouse, Jerry West, Jake Less, Jeremy Little, Tom Smith, and Travis Bennett all coming in, and Jordan Wenzel as well. So Scott Bolster going to stay out with Peter Przuchek, Tim Class, and Tony Japs. And I believe Scott Bolster was the lucky dog, so he'll be able to come around, be able to get in the pits here, as you can see him taking off around the track there at number 45. Gonna want to come into those pits and get his pit stop done here, as actually it looks like Scott's gonna stay out and get around a few drivers here.
Yeah, I think the pit road may not have been open for him quite yet, because I don't think there's any way you want to try and stay out and not pit under this caution. Yeah, he's going to come down into the pit lane right now. I don't think this is any kind of situation where you want to try and take 2 tires to make this thing work, especially given how everybody is struggling with the truck being loose, and 2 tires, especially on the right side, is going to make it even looser. So it's really a stretch of the strategy to try and take 2 tires. But that's exactly what Travis Bennett did in 5th place right now. So
I was just looking at that.
we will see how that is going to work out for the 6 machine. I haven't really talked much about him tonight in the race here. He's only had 1 spot. He qualified in 6th, but hasn't really been that much of a threat, other than just right in the top 5 region. But now finds himself, up into 6th place here for this late race restart, and we only got about 10 laps to go, so we'll see if those 2 tires are going to pay off for him. It certainly got him up a couple spots, but will he be able to hold on to that truck?
It's a gamble, and if whatever he had working, if he was in the back of the pack, if he can gain himself a few positions by taking 2 tires and holding on to it here for about 10 to 11 laps. So we're at lap 163. We're about to go to 164. So we'll go around Brent Kirby here and go to the the front of his truck there. We can, oops. Oh, we still have trucks that still need to get weighed by. So yes, we're still under yellow here, as we still have 3 cars or trucks, excuse me, that are going to need to get waved around here soon. As Peter Pursuit checks in last time checks. Yep.
So we are going to get the green flag with 11 laps to go in this race. Not sure we've seen the last caution on this one yet, as I think it's about to get really racy really quick, as the Kirbys have dominated now the front row, as both Brent and Justin on the front row. Chris Bouchard is going to start back there in 3rd. So what has he got? He certainly had enough to hold these guys off on short runs. That's what we got right now. Does he have enough to get around these guys, though, is the question, as the pace truck is in. The 95 on the loud pedal, back racing here at Nashville. 11 laps to go. Can Brent Kirby hold off these guys? Bouchard all the way to the inside already. Trying to get around Justin Kirby. They get close. And Kirby's going to fall back. Bouchard is going to take over 2nd place, as that 58 certainly has a little damage on the inside. Now Gherkin trying to make the pass on the inside. He has the line, and he will make the pass into turn 1. So move Gherkin back up with a little crossover. As 4 wide is going to cause a late caution here.
Not what they wanted to see here, as we had a few drivers involved with Jake Les, Travis Bennett, Scott Bolster as he was coming out of the pits. So looks like the that one car there. So just Travis Bennett down on the berm. Oh, the 66 getting into the 7, down into the 6, into Scott. Oh, what a mess. I think that's the biggest one of the night so far here, is some guys this might benefit, especially the guys in the back, and did not take tires, Carl.
Yeah, I'm not sure what actually started that, if that was the 6 getting loose with those 2 tires, if that was the 51 getting into the back of them and all. It was certainly close there, but
yeah, I mean, I can take
real shame for some of those guys.
Here.
We'll take a look at it, and yeah, it looks like the 6 is already a little bit loose coming down over the front of Matthew Greathouse's nose right there, and yeah, gets a little bit of the apron, and they were 3 wide up there on the outside of the track. Scott just coming off the pit lane. Not sure what happened with Bolster, why he was in the pit lane once again. But yeah, the 66 just coming off the wall a little bit, gets into the 7, and it's good night for a lot of these guys. And Bolster almost gets by, but just gets launched by the 6 right there up into the air.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that maybe Scott had a speeding on the pits or something like that as he was leaving and had to come in and serve a penalty. And as he was coming out, got wrapped up with these guys, fighting for position, trying to hold the car. The 6 does not look like it has a fast repair, as it is smoking. So hopefully their pit crew can get that thing under control. Maybe replace a radiator cap or something, but I'm thinking he has a little more substantial damage as he continues to sit there and take as much repairs as possible. The 7 not looking too happy as well, as he's going to get back out there though and try to get the best finish as possible. But Brent Kirby had that great launch, and this time he has his brother behind him, so you know, Justin just didn't have the jump on that last restart to follow behind his brother and not be able to get around Chris Bouchard, as he was on the outside starting on the front row.
Well, now we see too if Justin is going to return the favor a little bit and maybe give the 28 the business, as he get moved up the track a little bit. But we are going to be restarting now. Crossing the line this time by is 5 to go, so I believe we should have 4 to go. So not going to be green, white, checkered used up quite yet, as the pace truck lights are indeed off. Brent Kirby, Chris Bouchard on the front row, Justin Kirby, Grady Gherkin on the second row, Eric Jeffers, Jerry West all the way up into the top 6 now. So don't count out that 00 just yet, as he's moving his way up here late in the race. But it is going to be Brent Kirby as the control truck up front. And yeah, it just got it was wild. It's even wilder now. So we'll see how this thing ends up. But the pace truck makes the left-hand turn into pit road. It is under the control of the 95, and he is on the loud paddle a little bit later, so Bouchard gets a good jump as well. 95 not able to move up into the top lane, so Bouchard gonna fight around the outside. Not gonna be enough just yet as Kirby moves up and just barely blocks off the 28, slides up a little bit. Good battle for third and fourth, as well as Justin Kirby, Grady Gherkin doing battle right behind these guys. And it is 3 to go here at Nashville. We'll see if these guys can finish this thing under green. Gherkin gets punted into the wall by Kirby. And now Eric Jeffers moves into the mix. Jerry West in the mix as well. 2 to go off the line. Gherkin into the wall again, and that could be another caution.
Yes.
Indeed it is, involving a bunch of cars once again. That's going to bring us to a green-white checkered finish.
Oh, and that happened with Jerry West, Jake Lesh, and Eric Jeffers involved in there, as everybody fighting for the same piece of real estate on a short track here. The Grady Gherkin getting into the wall, coming down into the 4 into Jeffers. Matthew Greathouse kind of getting collected up. Jake Lesh hitting the inside wall. Jerry getting spun around there late. Just, you know, I think Jeffers was kind of blindsided by that one. If you watch that one again real close, he was just down there minding his own business. Grady Gherkin got into the wall, and then Jerry and Grady kind of come down, taking that 4 out. So a lot of trucks did make it around, and some taking some damage. So it is going to be one heck of a shootout. I'm hoping for a great finish here, as you know, these guys give it their all every single lap, and to see these guys kind of get taken out there at the end, you know, I mean, it does suck, but it is part of racing, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think Eric Jeffers got hit by every single truck in the back half of the field once he got going there. I mean, I hate to laugh about it, but you just seen he got hit twice. That sent him in the inside wall, and then he bounced off, got hit by West. I think he just barely got hit by Greathouse. I mean, just anybody and everybody was taking a piece out of the 4 there of Eric Jeffers. But again, that's going to set us up for a green-white checker. So overtime here for the Man Cave After Dark Truck Series once again, and it is the same lineup as we had last time. It is Brent Kirby on the front row with Chris Bouchard. Then you got Justin Kirby, Grady Gherkin on that second row, and these trucks looked pretty decently clean for most of the race, and I guess Bouchard still looks pretty clean, but other than that, everybody's starting to look like they've been short track racing.
I mean, that's just a product of short track racing, close, intimate. I mean, whatever you want to call it, these guys are battling lap in, lap out, and giving it their all as these paint jobs just take a toll, you know, as they go around here tonight. So it looks like we have 3 trucks out. 13 trucks is still out on the track. So Brent Kirby, Chris Bouchard, Justin Kirby, Grady Gherkin, Todd Smith, Jordan Wenzel, Matthew Greathouse, Jeremy Little, Tony Japson, Peter Pazuchek round out your top 10. Then Tim Glass, Jake Lesh, Jerry West, Eric Jeffers, Travis Bennett, and Scott Bolster rounding out our 16 truck field here, as the lights are still on the pace truck. So we're going to go one more time around after this, into overtime. I don't think anybody's got any fuel issues, and hopefully we'll see how these tires have fared through all these slides and running these things as hard as they could.
Yeah, I don't know what to ask first. If I should ask, you know, who you got, who you think's gonna pull off this win. Maybe another question is, who's got enough fenders to finish this race at this point? I mean, we went a good probably 2/3 of this race with everybody being still on the lead lap, and certainly the longest of the season to have that. I mean, I know at the very least, I think when I checked in, it was about 136 laps in before somebody got lapped the first time. So great job by those guys then, but then it got racy real quick, and everybody's got some bumps and bruises on the sides of their truck. But we are ready to go green one more time, and this time Brent Kirby not wasting any time. Great jump, great early jump there for the 95, and it's enough to get Justin Kirby to the inside of Bouchard. Is he going to have enough to stay on the inside? Doesn't look like it, as the 28 going to clear him going into turn 3. Coming off this time, they will see the white flag Gherkin not out of this yet either. And here comes Jordan Wenzel in the top 5 as well. But Kirby Brent is going to lead into turn 1. Going to try and move up and hold off the 28 just barely as they're going to send it now into turn 3. Brent Kirby is going to do it. He's going to hold off that 28. Bouchard going to come in second. A good battle for third. Justin Kirby going to hold him off. Gherkin into 4th. Wenzel into 5th. Todd Smith 6th. Man, what a finish here, as Bouchard was not going to give up that easy.
Now Chris really pushing that 95, 95 of a Brent Kirby. Had to do a lot of work there to keep that 28 around, as the 28 was fast all race. And until Brent finally got around him to start leading towards the end of this race. But Brent Kirby, our winner here tonight, over Chris Bouchard and Justin Kirby. So the brothers both on the podium here tonight. Grady Gherkin, points leader, finishing 4th. Still a good points night for him. Jordan Wenzel in 5th. Todd Smith, newcomer, in 6th in that 66 machine. Jeremy Little bouncing back, being able to work through some of those wrecks, not being caught up into them, and getting a 7th place finish here tonight. Matthew Greathouse with a top 10 in 8th position, and Tony Japston 9th. Peter Pazuchek getting the top 10 here tonight as well. Jake Lesh unfortunately moved back to the 11th spot. Jerry West in 12th. Tim Glass in 13th. Eric Jeffers in 14th. Travis Bennett in 15th. And Scott Polster rounding out our field here tonight at Nashville. So after all said and done, 183 laps. So a few extra laps here tonight, making it very interesting. Great racing by the guys at UCRL.
Yeah, it sounds like you're having a little bit of mic issues on your side. It keeps cutting in and out, at least on my side. But we're going to head and go and bring in our top 3 here. And we're going to start with Justin Kirby. And Justin, you had one heck of an eventful race. You started up towards the front, and I think you were in the back 2 or 3 times. And really seeming like the only truck that can kind of pick off guys at will and actually move your way through the field. And you found yourself up there into the top 3 and even into second there for a brief moment. But how does the 3rd place feel? I'm not sure how to read that one for you.
Third place is great. I mean, considering how the night started off, I don't know if you guys were able to hear the voice chat, but I had my wheel coming off the desk, so I was trying to adjust it back on, and I was too far down into turn 3, and the right rear was already gone. I just had to put it in the fence. But I mean, 3rd place, considering where it was at, I mean, I was able to utilize the fresh tires. Like the first run I came up through, I had like 15-20 laps fresher than everybody else, and then the second run I had 10. So I just had to take it easy, let the tires come in, and it was just roll the bottom of it. I'll be okay. 3rd place, good points. I'm ecstatic.
Yeah, a loose truck is one thing. A loose wheel, not good. Not good at all. So, yeah, I guess everything considered, a 3rd place is good. When you restarted a little bit late there in the race, you were restarting alongside of Brent on one of those restarts, and it looked like maybe you and the 28 got into it a little bit into turn 1 and shuffled you back a little bit. Do you feel like you may have had a shot at the win on this one?
Oh, for sure. But I know Brent, he was with us practicing leading up to this. He had some really good short run pace, and the truck stuck with him. So it was going to be harder to pass him. It was going to be really hard to pass him if I got there. And last thing you do is rule number 1, and when you have a teammate in the race, don't wreck your teammate. And I was going to run him hard, but it was going to be really hard to get around him. But I'm super happy he got this one, and was able to do it clean, green, no caution issues or whatever, and just number two for him. Freaking ecstatic.
Yeah, I thought rule number 2, the fact that the teammate's your brother, cancels out rule number 1. But I guess we'll wait till another time we have another chance there. But yeah, great run for Black Magic Motorsports. You guys putting 2 drivers up there into the top 3. So great run for both of you guys. But before we let you go, we'll give you a little chance to give some shout outs or thanks.
Yeah, just the thing. Thanks to Brent and Trevor with Black Magic here. Just having fun racing, and the guys at PG-13. The other stuff I do, some old buddies of ours that are trying to come back. Black Hole Motorsports. There's just a lot of guys to thank and to go around, and just happy to be where I'm at.
Well, congratulations once again on your third place finish, and try and keep this thing going to wrap up the rest of the season.
Yeah, 10-4. Thanks, guys. We're gonna keep it rolling.
Sounds good, buddy. All right, that was your third place finisher, the 58 of Justin Kirby. Now, Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and take our second place finisher, the 28, Chris Bouchard.
Hey, Chris, Jimmy Carlton, a booth, you copy, buddy?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, this race started off, and I thought pretty much you were going to run away with it. And then got a few cautions, and the Kirby brothers decided to catch up to you and gave you a run for your money. And at the end, you were not quite able to get around them as you gave it all you had. And it was really interesting to watch. I just wanted to kind of get your side of the story and how things went for you tonight.
Well, to be honest, I was not expected to be in this position at all. Last night when I was practicing, I could not. I was more lost than Matt Ryan Sunday during that football game. I was so lost in practice.
All the Colts fans out there too soon.
I like the Colts, but during practice, I found a line, and that really helped. And I was just not good enough on the long run. I was really hoping for an earlier caution than what we got. I was hoping to have a caution like every 40-ish laps, and then that would have been right in my wheelhouse when it came to my pace and all that. But great points day for me. I know I finished in front of Grady. Brent, I don't know where he is in points, but I don't think he's anywhere close. So I'll take finishing second to him. Those last few restarts were absolutely crazy. I got into Brent getting into 3 one time, and I'm like, I don't spin, because last thing I want right now is enemies this late in the season.
Yeah, enemies that you definitely do not want as you're trying to chase down Grady Gherkin, as he had a pretty decent points night as well, as finishing in 4th, so not too far behind. But in any case, you're still gaining on him, and quite a few races to go, as I believe you guys get to drop a few races, your worst races, obviously, and you continue to put in some good finishes here.
Yeah, that's just the key, is just consistent good finishes. I missed a race, and I had a few bad races early on in the season, so right now it's all about finishing in front of that 46.
That you did tonight, and I want to give you a huge congratulations, and give you a little time to give any shout outs that you may have.
I gotta give a shout out to Scott for putting on the league. He built all the setups for this thing, and it was tricky last night, but somehow I figured it out today. So gotta give a shout out to him for everything he does for the league. I gotta give a shout out to you guys for broadcasting. I can't wait to watch those last few restarts on YouTube. I always love watching them back. I gotta give a shout out to my teammates, Great House and Jeremy Little. Decent points day for us as a team. I think we're second in points overall, but I think we lost a few because I think it's Kirby or that team that's in front of us.
Yeah. Black Magic is in 4th, and and they were in 1st and 3rd, getting some great points. Yourself being in 2nd, and then I'm not quite sure how many points you guys will get, but Matt Greathouse and Jeremy Little in 7th and 8th. So your team points won't be a shabby one tonight. You obviously bringing home the bacon for the team for the most part, but I think overall you'll fare out pretty well.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to try to get both. So hopefully we can. Gotta give one last shout out to Custom Paints and Diecasts. Hit them up on Facebook. He can make you a paint scheme for your iRacing, like stock cars. He can do anything, but like mainly stock cars. He can make your paint scheme into a diecast. I have one of them, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's nothing like having a little personalized diecast on your shelf. I know I have a lot back from when I was a kid, and the NASCAR races, all the NASCARs that I have up on the wall. It's always good to look at. So having a personal one would be awesome. That's a good shout out there. But again, congratulations on the 2nd place finish, and we'll let you go ahead and celebrate with your teammates.
All right, thank you.
All right, that your 2nd place finisher, the 28, Chris Bouchard. Now we bring in the man of the hour, and that is the other Kirby, Brent Kirby. not to be outdone. Justin already had 2 wins on the season, so it's got to feel good to tie it up here with the second win of the season for you.
Yeah, it feels really good. What's funny about that is we were comparing notes, and I'm like, yeah, we're tied for polls, but you got more wins. He's like, well, no. He's like, I got more polls than you do. So yeah, the bragging right factor, he had me there a little bit. He still does, but he's such a blast to not only because he's my brother, but we run really well together. It's been really fun for a lot of years.
So tell me about, towards the end of the race there, you're running down Chris Bouchard. Was it that, his truck was going off in the late run? Was it that your truck felt better in the late run? Was it the, the dirty air from the lap cars in front? What was it to catch up to him and finally make that pass and take the lead?
I think it's a little bit of both ends. I think he hurt his rears a little bit. And I think I was so much better on entry than those guys. But through about mid-center off, they'd pull me to start. But then as the heat cycle started going through the tires, I could kind of manage that. And if I needed to cool off the rear, I'd change my line. If I needed to heat up the front, I'd change my line. And it really paid off. I could feel every inch of that truck. Scott did a hell of a job on that setup.
So the restart with about 5 to go, you started a little bit late and looked like Bouchard kind of got a pretty decent jump along with you. You were just barely able to clear going into 1, but then he sent it to you on the outside. Still able to hold it off before the late race caution that brought out the green-white checker. It looked like you got a little bit earlier of a jump on that second one.
Yeah, I kind of was hoping there would be 2 in a row, oddly enough, and 2 cautions rather. And so I changed them up on purpose, pretty drastic, so I could, if there was a second one, if I took off earlier, maybe I'd get a better run going in.
Well, it certainly paid off, and you got the win. Again, your second win on the season, and definitely going to help you out when it comes to the point standings, as back there outside the top 10, but it certainly seemed like you're a little bit better than outside the top 10 truck for the season, so I'm sure you'll be able to move up in the standings a bit. But looking at the rest of the season now, we got 6 races to go, half of them being 1.5 mile tracks, and they start next week at Kansas. Which ones are you looking forward to finish out the season?
Honestly, it's the same thing as the last time I talked to you guys. There's not a track on the rest of the schedule that I don't like. So it's more, for me, it's making sure I don't burn the darn tires off the thing is the biggest thing. My pacing has been a little bit off this season until today. And I was kind of chuckling to myself in my head when I got to Bouchard. It's like, the only thing that's going to impress Carl or Jimmy is if I just pass him.
Well, yeah, I mean, up to that point, he led every lap under green. I think one person led a lap under caution. Not sure if that was Justin or not. I forget who it was under caution, but I think up to that point, every lap under green was led by Chris. So he certainly impressed us by not just running him down, but actually making that pass underneath him under green and getting this thing done. So congrats once again on the win, and we'll give you any shout outs or any thanks you want to give before we let you go.
Well, obviously, shout outs to Justin, Trevor, great teammates. I learn a lot from them guys each and every week. Our other co-teammates that we work with more on the roadside, PG-13, great group. Love working with them. Joel Putty, who's been out of the mix for a while, but we're looking for him to come back with Black Hole Motorsports. We'll hopefully be making an announcement about our oval program again here sometime soon. And the league and you boys. I mean, without all of it, we wouldn't have a show.
Well, without you guys, we wouldn't have a show either, and you guys put on a good show every week. And it's, I know it's probably stressful for you guys to have these late race cautions and grouping everybody up, but obviously we love it, and I'm sure the fans love it too. So I'm not saying go ahead and do that every week. I'm sure, if you're out there in the league, you don't want any kind of cautions, but again, great job on the win, and we'll let you go and celebrate with the team.
I appreciate you, fellas. We'll see you next week.
Hey, congratulations.
That, again, your winner, the 95, Brent Kirby. And certainly it didn't seem like short track racing for the first, 130, 150 laps, but I'll be damned if they didn't change my mind to the last 25. It got to bumping and banging, and elbows out and just anything and everything you would think of for short track racing to finish that thing out.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing more or nothing less to expect from these guys. I mean, they continue to put on great racing every week. These guys race hard, they're race clean, and if these guys have an opening and you want to race trucks or whatever series, I mean, Scott puts on one heck of a program, and everything seems to be fair. And these guys here are able to voice each other's opinion and then come back out and race against each other and still race clean, not like driving each other in a wall like a few choice words that I'm sure I could call those people. But anyways, I want to also give a thanks out to everybody watching. Please, if you can, give us that hit that thumbs up for us. It boost our videos up a little bit. And if you haven't followed already, please hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything to you, obviously, and it helps us here at CRN as we continue to the coverage here for UCRL and any other league that's out there, as we have multiple sets of teams out here, and sometimes we have multiple races that we're covering at the same time that you can actually go and watch. So we're looking to do big things in the future, and hopefully we'll have some good changes, but definitely like to continue to cover not only the boys at UCRL but anybody else that may need some coverage here for CRN. So, but I don't know, Carl. I'm looking forward to next week. As I'll go ahead and I'll bring up the schedule for next week. And it looks like next week, let's see, we just knocked out Nashville. So Kansas on the track, 1.5 miles, 117 laps. It will be on the 27th of December. So hopefully everybody gets a good Christmas break and we see everybody then.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to everyone out there. And we will have that race next week, and that will be the last one of the year for CRN, as the ARCA series is now done, Premier Series is done, the Man Cave After Dark Truck Series is the Lone Series running right now until next year, till everything picks back up again. But once again, Merry Christmas to everyone out there, as Brent Kirby just going to celebrate Christmas a little bit early here with a win here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. I had a blast out there, and it looks like everybody else did as well. And tune in next week at Kansas, and maybe Brian, maybe Matthew Greathouse will get it done there and finally bring that 51 to victory lane. But only way you're going to find out is if you tune in to us here at CRN. For myself and Jimmy, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.